Welcome back, bookworms and fellow aesthetic aficionados. So, today we are going to be doing a deep dive into the world of bookish aesthetics because, the bookish aesthetic is definitely a topic of interest and it's a whimsical world basically. But today we're not actually going to be looking at the bookish girl aesthetic that a lot of people have been deep diving into, because while that is an interesting topic that I definitely want to really do a deep dive into, no, that's not actually what I want to focus on today. Today, I actually want to look into like how our love of books have, it's gone beyond the books that we read, and it's kind of like just seeped into our daily lives in the sense of our bookshelves, our nooks, and even the way we interact on social media, Bookstagram, which is really where the aesthetic girl lives. And so today, we're really just going to be looking into all of like the different aesthetics, and yeah, maybe a bit of tips and tricks if you want to be getting into that side of the bookish world. So, you know what? Let's get into it. Now, for those of you who are new, my name is Shelley, lover of books and commenting on everything books. And today we are talking about the bookish aesthetic, okay? And so let's get right into it because I'm really excited because I've gone through like so many phases in my like bookish journey. And so I'm like, I love that for me. And for those of you who might be new or who might be looking for a change, like, you know what, I got you. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to be looking at today is bookshelf organization. Yeah, the art of the shelfie. Okay. Now I remember first starting out in the bookish like social media world. I was first on Bookstagram, and the shelfie was always so popular, like hashtag Sunday shelfie, always there. Did I always participate? Absolutely not, because yeah, there's kind of like this, this belief that you have to have like 1,000 shelves and like the perfect bookshelf to post your shelfie. Absolutely not. I'm definitely going to debunk that myth now. If you have books and they're on a form of shelf, post your Sunday shelfie, okay? Let the people see the books that you love, the books that you adore, and how you place them. But let's actually look into how people organize them, because there are so many different organization styles. I might not list the different types because some people might, do it in a different way to the ones I'm listing today. But these are more so the ones that I'm familiar with, the ones that I've tried, and the ones that are most popular, let's say. First and foremost, the rainbow shelf. Now, this is really funny to me because this is what I initially had going on, but with my growing number of books, this is no longer a rainbow shelf. Like, I know some people are just like, oh, I like how your books are organized by color. And I'm so happy that you recognize that, in part because I'm telling you now, it's now just super chaotic. And I don't know if I can recognize it as being a rainbow shelf anymore. I definitely need to do a bit of reorganizing soon, but can't find the time. So I don't know if this is like a rainbow shelf anymore, if I can call it a partial rainbow shelf. I'll go with partial rainbow shelf because it does still go by color for the most, for half part. Yeah. Like bookshelf decorating is literally in art form. And so like this is kind of like the first thing that I had to mention because it's very much bringing out like that artistic side of you, because it's actually really fun to do. It takes forever to do, but it's also really fun, like if you go with the rainbow aesthetic, like if that is who you think you are, very much, because the rainbow aesthetic is for people who basically see their lives through the lens of a kaleidoscope. It's basically like if Willy Wonka was like, he took a book binding. Like this is like the type of person here. Like you're all about like deep hues and just a burst of color and joy. That is the vibe of the rainbow aesthetic, like just color and joy. The thing is though, obviously with all of these types of bookshelf organizations, like there is a ritual with every single one. With the rainbow girly, like you spend hours actually like taking the time to organize the books, in a way that the spines go through like this beautiful gradient that would make a unicorn jealous. And it's just so fun. Like honestly, I was, when I first got my rainbow shelf, when it was more organized, I was so proud of myself because I was so proud. It's great. And you get bonus points 100% if you're posting a picture and you get like your outfit to match like the section that you're in, or if you can find a way to kind of match it like through row. I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't know if you have like a dress that has like an outfit that works like that. But if you can do that, bonus points for you, baby girl. I support it 100%. Yeah. Now, this type of style, it's very much ideal for the person who believes in the harmony of hues. It's really, really lovely when you kind of just have like that set color, like that vision, and then you can go from a distance and kind of just see how like the gradient kind of goes from each row to row. It's definitely so, so beautiful. So if you're that type of person, then the rainbow shelf is for you. And I know you probably already have it, or you're already thinking of how you're going to reorganize to achieve it. One thing I will say is like organizing by color, it's very much a bold statement because it's essentially saying, who cares about plot when it's pretty? Obviously, we don't do that. We care about plot. But like, who cares about anything when it's pretty? It's essentially the equivalent of judging a book by its cover. But what's really funny about this is that we do not care. Like when you do, like you judge this book by the cover, yes, we do not care. I picked it specifically because it had a beautiful purple cover. It had a beautiful blue cover. It had, like, you just do it and you're just like, there's no shame in my game. And there's all respect to it. So if this is you, then you know what? Put your hands up. Let me know in the comments if this is like who you identify with. Like, who do you got? Like, I'm a rainbow girly and I'm proud. And I love that for you. When it comes to bookshelves, the rainbow aesthetic is very, very popular. You'll definitely see it on Bookstagram quite a lot. And it's just super cute, super fun. Love it. I love seeing it all the time. And I just imagine like as my library grows and I can see like the rainbow like coming to fruition, I just like, I smile. I always see that in my head. Like that's what I am envisioning for my future. Yeah. Okay, so the next like way of organizing your bookshelf is by genre or author. Now, this is like the vibe of this person is kind of like, you know, the intellectual or the scholarly like reader. It's very, very cute. It's very much giving a nod to Dewey and his decimals. Like, if you don't get it, it's all right. It's all right. No one's going. But then it's kind of like a way to kind of like show off your literary prowess. Now, not to say that anyone like who's not doing it by genre and author, like you don't have any literary prowess, but it's kind of just like the vibe that you get when someone is just like, I organize it by author, I organize it by genre. You're very much a very organized person. Like you have everything down packed. Now the ritual is almost a bit calmer than like the rainbow aesthetic girly because it's very much taking the time to sort out all the different genres before you can put it up there and really kind of just going name by name. And like you know, you kind of like you're getting memories of, you know, sorting your books by the Dewey Decimal System, and it's just like, oh my goodness, this takes me back to being in the library in high school and like kind of like hunting down the books that you wanted to read back then. Now, this type of organizing, it definitely appeals to someone who likes order and predictability. Like I won't even lie, I had my books by author and by rainbow mainly whenever I reorganize my bookshelves. Those are usually my two go-tos. And yeah, so when it comes to the rainbow, like that's kind of just like my creative, my colorful side coming out. But I'm also someone who really, really loves order and predictability, which is why as much as I love looking at my rainbow shelves, destructive, but rainbow shelves, like there are so many times where it runs me mad, where so many times I'm just like, I'm just going to pull everything down and I'm going to reorganize. Because with rainbow shelves, the one thing that you don't get is that kind of like order or like that knowledge unless you know your books. Now this is why I haven't taken down like my rainbow shelves, at least not yet. I know my books like the back of my hand. Like especially like if you're one of my favorites, I know you, so I know the cover, I know the spine. Like with the, you know, the organizing by genre or author, it gives that order of, oh, you want to, if you're doing it by author, oh, you want to read I don't know, Lee Bardugo. Oh, let's go to the B section. Very, very easy. Oh, you want to read a philosophy book? Okay, we can go to Nietzsche. Yes, I do have Nietzsche here. I read a variety of books, guys. You'd be shocked. You know, so you can, oh, you want to read fantasy? Let's go over here, you know? Like, it's just, when you organize by either author or genre, it's just so easy to find those books. Whereas when when you organize by color, it's more of a case of you have to know those books like 100% by your head and be like, okay, they want to read a book with dragons. What book has dragons? What is it called? What's the spine? Like, you really have to know your books. Like I said, I know my books really, really well, but it becomes dangerous when like I haven't read the book, or like I haven't read it in a while, it's not top of my list, or like, yeah, I'm just not so familiar with it, and I'm just like, oh, let me finally read this book, and then I can't find it. Or like, oh, you know what, I want to reread this book, or I want to finish this book because I never finished it because the beginning was a bit slow. What was the color of the spine? And then you're just there for like 3 hours hunting it down. Yes, that has happened to me before, and it is stressful. It's so, so stressful. So if you're someone who's all about the order, the predictability, and you're not about the stress and hunting down a book, then this system is 100% for you. And I beg you, avoid the rainbow system with your life. You will suffer if that's you. If you don't know your books as well, avoid the rainbow system. It's not going to work for you at all. This, like the author genre system, is your go-to 100%. Now, the next type is kind of like very interesting because it doesn't really have a set way of organization, unless you know like this vibe. Unless this is specifically your vibe, you won't know how to achieve it. It's very weird because this isn't just something that you'll see in your bookshelf. This is something that you'll see in your living space, in your home, like, because this is kind of just like your type of vibe, and that is the minimalistic dream. This is all about clean lines. Like, you are not messing with it. Clean lines, zen vibes. You're not with, see, this would stress a minimalist out, because not only do I have books hanging off and this and that and just trinkets all about, the lines are not clean. So if you're a minimalist person, then you have like, for example, if you were to look in this line, the books would be organized in terms of height, very, very clean lines. This would stress someone out. And having this random like facing here wouldn't work. Having these books kind of just like hanging out here with a whole ribbon wouldn't work. That's a trinket, by the way. That's not going to work for someone who has the minimalistic dream. Like, this would stress you out 100%. Like, do you see the up and downs of my book? It wouldn't work for them at all. Now, I have a bit of this in me, but when I first, or like I said, guys, I need like a huge, like, unhaul of my book to like reorganize it. But like with the minimalistic dream, like, it's all about like keeping that consistent like vision, keeping that consistent like zen, not necessarily clean, but just very organized, very clean lines, if anything. And then one of the parts of their rituals is definitely like regular decluttering, to just ensure that everything stays in line with the vibe that you're trying to achieve. And the minimalistic vibe person is also someone who probably regularly prunes their collection just to maintain the vibe that they're going for, just that serenity. Like, you will see these libraries kind of just like, it looks so organized, like, you stepped into like this professional library without a line in place. There's not a book that's like out there. And for example, once again, do you see, you probably can't see because of the dimensions, but you can probably see from here, the books aren't even kind of like in line in terms of like how out and how forward that they are. Like, some books are more out than others. Once again, like, I really need to organize, because I actually like when a book is 100% like in line with one another. But yeah, there's been a lot going on, and so even when I look at my library, as much as I still love it, it does kind of stress me out in several ways, several forms. All this hanging out, I've learned to appreciate it and love it, just because there's no space, there's nowhere else that they can go. But no, but even things like this would kind of like throw a minimalist off, in the sense that there are some books that are, portrait. There are some books that are, hanging landscape like this. Like, no, clean lines all the way through. So if that's your vibe, I respect it. I support it. You know what you want. You know what you love. You're all about the zen, the serenity. And I love that for you. You probably could not survive in my bookshelf, because the way that these books continue to grow, and I'm basically running out of space. Yeah, and I'm not getting rid of any books. I rarely prune my collection. No, like, if I loved you and I read you and I loved you, you're not going anywhere. You're staying here, which is why we have these books hanging about. And I'm also a trinket babe. So yeah, no. And that brings us kind of to like our like last category of aesthetic type, and that is the maximalist haven. So this is really, really where I'm headed to, and I don't know if I'm comfortable heading to this direction. The Maximalist Haven is all about overflowing bookshelves and really kind of cozy chaos. And that's 100% where I'm heading to. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, do I want to be here? Like, stacked books, obviously, as you're seeing, like overflowing bookshelves, as you're once again seeing. And you just love it. They love every bit of like their libraries, like showing their love for reading, just like you, the love for reading is literally overflowing, and they love that. Like, the Maximalist Haven is for, is that person that is like constantly rearranging to fit one more book. They do not believe in the philosophy of less is more. It's literally more is more, because every book deserves a home. That is the type of person that the Maximalist Haven suits for. So if that's you, if your bookshelf is looking like this, or like you envision having a bookshelf like this, that's who you are. Your library is Maximalist Haven, and that's beautiful. I love that, because you know what? You're right. Every book deserves to have a home. Once again, like I said, I'm not too sure about fitting into this category, because, as I've said, the overflowing books are actually stressing me out. It really is stressing me out. I'm just like, I don't have any room anymore, but I want to have room. So this is actually stressing me out. I don't know if I'll ever fully be a Maximalist Haven girly, because sometimes I look at it and I'm just like, having the overflowing shelves kind of like, it does make me smile, because I'm just like, I remember when I just had 10 books, when when you just start reading, you only have a few books, and you're like, oh, one day I want to have a library, and the rule is 1,000 books make a library. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I can't wait to reach that point. And now I'm getting to that point. I'm very close to that point, and I'm just like, I don't have room to get to that point, and it's really stressing me out. But also, I love that I'm getting to that point. It's a very, very it's so stressful, but like so loving, very interesting. Yeah, but that's where I am. So like, this is like the space for like someone who we can probably look at and say, yeah, maybe you are a book addict, and addict is the right word. Like looking for a book, it'll be a Herculean task, but like, they don't care at all. It's kind of like the joys in the journey, like literally the joys in the journey. Like with the people who are like Maximalist Haven babies, like every surface is fair game, which is why I say that I'm definitely inching towards this type of person, or this type of organization style, because it's true. Every surface is fair game. I've had my books on the floor, guys. I created a book tower at one point in time before I started like hanging them on the edge. I never used to have books on like the top of my bookshelves. That always used to be clear, and I used to have other things on it, like my past book boxes. No, the top of the bookshelf, like not the top row, the actual top of the bookshelf has books, and like it's already run out of space already. Like, guys, yeah. So if you're there, like me and you are probably in the same category here. But I don't know if I'll stay there. But those are like the main forms, like the main types of bookshelf organization. Let me know in the comments 100% like which style do you fit in, or which style do you even want to fit in. Somehow I have found myself in every one of these styles. So I think I'm gonna like make a chart of like the percentage of how much styles each I am. So maybe if you feel like you fit in more than one, let me know as well. Because yeah, I somehow have all of the categories in my library. I somehow fit them all, except currently like the sorting my author and genre. I have been there, but except for that one, I have currently all the other styles. I have the minimalist in some ways on that side, the maximalist 100%, and obviously the rainbow is what we were originally, but like we're falling short, but that's all right. But yeah, that's bookshelf organization, and I know that we've spent such a large amount of time on that, but it's all right. It's all right. You know what? We can chat. It's all good. But the next thing that we're going to look into is the classic reading nook. Oh guys, this is definitely something that has stressed me out so much, because I remember when I really started to collect books, one thing I was desperate for was creating this like perfect reading nook. My reading nook has changed about like 8 times, and I am still looking for it to like change again. But once again, the more books you have, the less room you have. And so a reading nook is one of those things that kind of just like, you're a second thought currently, but I would like for you to be a first thought. But let's look into reading nooks. Okay, the first style is definitely the style that I wanted when I first like got into books, and I still kind of want. It's just more of a space thing. So when I have like maybe bigger space, I'm going to create this 100%, and that is the cozy corner, guys. This is like, you have like the ingredients to create this is they're very, very simple. You just need like a plush bean bag, a lot of pillows, a very, very warm, fuzzy blanket, and like, a nice lamp. Like those are kind of like the main ingredients to create this cozy reading nook. Now the vibe is kind of like, if you think of hygge, I'm gonna put the name here because I like, or he, I can never pronounce it properly. Like just think warm and inviting, and this is like, it just looks so comfy that you can like get lost in a book for hours, which is why I want that to be like my permanent like reading nook space. Like it's just like just that space that you can really just fall into and sink in and just be with your book and even fall asleep if you need to. It just seems like the perfect space for me, like for reading. Like, especially if you're a fantasy reader, this seems like the perfect type of reading nook for you because you can lose yourself in reading and reality, basically. And that's what we need when it comes to reading fantasy. Like, we want to be transported to a whole new world. So I want to sink in and really just forget that I am on Earth. I want to go anywhere but. And to be able to sink in and do that, like just lose yourself, lose track of time. Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, so I'm not there yet, but I was close at one point. But it's all right. It's all right. Now, the next type of reading nook is definitely something that it looks cool, but this is something that you need a good view for, and that is the window seat. Now, I pointed there because my window's over there. Now, with the window seat reading nook, you need like a cushioned seat because obviously windowsills are just wood or however your windowsill is. You need like natural light, obviously. So if your window is looking literally a brick wall, probably not the best. And prefer like with that natural light, preferably you want it to be facing, a garden, a lake, a really nice view, or even like a busy street because reading on the window is always kind of perfect for people watching. So it's kind of like you have two halves. You can either have like the serenity or you can have like the busy street that kind of allows for that like movement. It's just, yeah, it's very interesting, but it'll be really, really calm even with the people moving. Like people watching, like when you're reading, when you're taking a break from reading, honestly, perfect combination. It's so sweet. I've done it before. When I had the opportunity to do it, when I had a window that was facing the street. But now, no, my window is basically facing the other side of a building, so I can't have that right now. It's all right though. I'm not too sad about it because it's not like my go-to dream reading nook. Now the vibe for this is basically like dreamy and contemplative. Like that word is always so basically someone who is a daydreamer, like who wants to get lost in their own thoughts, especially like when you're reading like a book that challenges you and makes you think about a lot. Like that reading nook, like being on the window, being able to rest your head on the wall, and obviously having the comfy cushion to to cushion your back. Like it's perfect. That's the vibe that you're going for if you like are going for a window seat reading nook. So like for like I think like this would kind of like suit people who are like romantics and like reading romance. Like there's something inherently like romantic about like gazing out of a window between chapters. Like it's where fiction and reality kind of blur. So I think it's perfect if that's kind of your vibe. So if that's your vibe, then strive for a window seat reading nook in the future, or if you have the ability to do it now, set it up now. That's your place. That's your place. Now the next reading nook is kind of where like I'm kind of situated right now. That is the bed fort. So basically it's basically like all you need for this is a well-made bed, and I have a lot of pillows, so to kind of simulate the cozy corner. A well-made bed, fairy lights, definitely with the lights out of here, a nice lamp, great like side table, that has snacks, and obviously a great amount of space for you to kind of put your books and your bedside table lamp. Honestly, the bed is probably the easiest to set up. Like I think it's very, very simple because everyone has like at least one or two of those ingredients, and that is the bed and the bedside table. Like some people don't have a bedside table, which is why I'm just like one or two of the ingredients, but you have the bed. You can figure it out. You can get a mini table next to your bed to where you can put your lamp and your books. And fairy lights are like £5 on Amazon. Like it's not stressful. And honestly, fill them up with pillows, fill up with pillows, like just to simulate that cozy corner. Like that is like the perfect spot for me. And it's basically like, you know what, if I now want to go to bed or I'm feeling a nap, easy, I'm already there. Like, it's like the perfect space. I love it so much. So that, because I can't have my cozy corner yet, like the bed was the perfect alternative for me, and I have no regrets. I love it so much. Like this type of reading nook is ideal for the people who are like bedtime readers. I definitely read a lot at night, so it's perfect for me. Or even people who prefer to read lying down, like this is 100% for you. Like, it is the epitome of relaxation. Like, there's nothing to stress you out. You're in somewhere that is like made for you to rest and relax and literally sleep. And so it's perfect for you. If you know that you're the type of person, the minute your back touches a bed, you fall asleep, then this is not for you. Like, you will never ever finish a book ever if you're the type of person that does that. But like, if you're like a lazy reader, like, you know, you lay down in bed for hours without falling asleep and you naturally read there anyway, just make it a bit more like, you know, make it a bit more cozy, you know, with like the additional pillows. Make it a bit more like, you know, set the mood right with the fairy lights and the lamp, and obviously make it like just a bit more cute with, you know, the, you know, cute bedside table and even getting a cute bedside lamp. That is 100% for you. Perfect for the lazy reader who doesn't want to do too much and actually does not want to rise up off of bed. This is for you 100%. Now, the last type of reading nook is the outdoor oasis. Now, if you're a nature girly or a nature boy, then this is for you. But the thing is, with this, you either need to have your own hammock, or you need to know somewhere that always has a free hammock available. Like, or and I know I know a friend who actually found like a great space on the outdoors that's like by a lake, and you know, barely anyone goes there. Like, a nice space by the lake with a tree that you can like set up with a picnic blanket and rest your back on. Like, that'd be cool. But if you really want like a reading nook that is always permanently there for you, literally, you need a hammock, a swing chair, you know, and ideally on a balcony. You know, that really kind of sets the scene, sets the mood for the vibe that you're going for. So like, it's perfect for people who like a mix of fresh air with their fresh pages. Like, this is for you. You want the tranquility, but you know, you find tranquility in nature. So if this is your vibe, then yeah, you need to set up an outdoor reading nook. Like, it's just for you. It's the only place that you'll really kind of feel like is perfect for you. Obviously, like, I'm not much of a nature person. My friends know this. I don't leave my house like at all. I've always imagined or envisioned myself becoming a nature person when I can just like have the perfect setup. I have not found that perfect setup yet, so I have yet to become a nature person. Especially the whole fact of, you know, you have to be wary of bugs, because nothing's going to ruin your reading other than like a bug flapping on your pages. That will just ruin it for me 100%. So definitely beware. If this is your vibe and this is what you're going to set up for your reading nook, beware of the, you know, the stray bug here and there. That's going to happen. Like, because like there's definitely something like an air of nostalgia that comes with like reading, and the wind is, you know, is like breathing about, and then the rustle of the leaves. Like, definitely reading in autumn is something I definitely like. Reading outside in autumn is definitely a vibe at all times, regardless of where your reading nook is. So for the outdoor readers, yeah, the autumn is your season. I already know. But yeah, this is what you kind of like need, and this is the vibe, you know, that you're going for if you feel like you're a nature bug and you want to create your reading nook. That is all you need. Like, it's fairly simple. I say simple, but hammocks aren't cheap, and neither are swinging chairs. So yeah, good luck to you. You know, good luck with that. But like, I believe in you. One day maybe I'll join you guys, but I don't see that happening soon. So unfortunately for you and me, that's not gonna happen. We're not gonna see it. But it is what it is. Now, the last thing we're going to discuss when it comes to like, you know, the aesthetics of the book world and, you know, this bookish community, and that is the bookish community itself, and where aesthetics actually take root, where aesthetics actually like take the lead, and that is Bookstagram. Like, this is where all the aesthetic girlies go. You know, TikTok is for all the dancing babes, the creative babes, all the people who want to talk and be natural. Like TikTok is where it's at. YouTube, long form, you want to discuss, you want to like, you know, you want to debate, you want to learn. YouTube is where it's at. You want like an extensive review. YouTube is where it's at. Bookstagram, pretty pictures, aesthetics. That's the Bookstagram. Like, that's what Bookstagram was for before, you know, Instagram decided that they wanted to be brand new and wanted to be the new TikTok and started forcing people to make reels. No, we go on Bookstagram because we wanted to see pretty pictures. That's it. So if you want to be a Bookstagram girly, I recommend giving up on the reels. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. If you want to grow on Bookstagram, definitely the reels is where it's at. But if you want to, tap into the original essence of Bookstagram, then let's talk. Let's talk right now about aesthetics. Now, if you want to be a Bookstagram aesthetic babe, first thing you need to have in your, in your toolkit, flat lays. Flat lays are the bread and butter of the aesthetic Bookstagram. Like literally just a simple book can be elevated to extremes with just the right, the right complementary items. So with flat lays, like it really depends on people's personal styles, but then there are kind of like a few essentials that people have that really kind of make their pictures pop. Some form of nature. So leaves, like, pine cones, like dried fruit, definitely are in there. Like coffee mugs definitely make it 100%. And even maybe a few pillows and a few comfy items, definitely. But flat lays, once you find your style and find like the complementary items that go with your style, then you can really just elevate a flat lay beyond the beyond. I've seen some I've seen some amazing flat lays on Bookstagram that really just made me like fall in love. And to think that these people aren't professional photographers, absolutely not. Bookstagram makes a professional photographer out of you. But one thing definitely to take note of: natural light is your friend. Which is why flat lays and me used to have beef, because I do not have the best natural light. I used to fight for my life to attain some form of natural light. Yeah, but yeah, natural light is your best friend. Find the space that has the best natural light and get to shooting, get to taking your pictures. You can do it. You can do it. But yeah, if you want to be a Bookstagram aesthetic girly, the flat lay is the foundation of it. So you cannot run without getting your flat lay game up. So get to work and be experimenting, be researching, figure it out. But if you want to be in that category, a flat lay has to be in your arsenal 100%. Now, like for some a few people, like, what's a flat lay? Like literally a flat lay, you just have a book on a flat surface surrounded by a bunch of things. Yeah, that's a flat lay for those of you who don't know. But yeah, like I said, just get your complementary items, like I said, a bunch of nature, leaves, plants, coffee cups, glasses, 100%. Like glasses and like actual glassware can definitely work. But yeah, just find the things that work with you, work for you, and complement like your vibe that you're going for, and you can definitely do it. Because I know some people have kind of like the the dark academia vibe. Like filters definitely are your best friends as well. So definitely get you a good app, get the filter that you want to work with, find it, save it, use it consistently, and then you will have your theme. Like I have gone through quite a lot of like changes in my aesthetic on Bookstagram, especially when it comes to my flat lays. I might post it on here so you guys can get a bit of a view. But yeah, don't be afraid to experiment and change up your style every now and then if you want to go into the Bookstagram aesthetic girly lifestyle. Like, it's all right. Experiment, change it up a bit. Everything changes and it's completely fine. Next is, and we talked about this briefly, but it is the shelfie. The art of the shelfie is definitely like essential in the Bookstagram world. Like it's really just showing that you are proud of your bookshelf. Like literally sometimes it's just you showing the books on your bookshelf, but sometimes it kind of has like this focus on a specific book surrounded by your bookshelves. And sometimes the proud owner of the book makes an appearance in front of the shelf, but like it shows like your organizational prowess. It kind of shows like your style. It really kind of gives people an idea of you, the way you organize your books. 100%. Yeah, like I said, we looked at the different organizational styles, the vibe they gave off, and the person that would like to go with those styles. So your shelf kind of speaks to who you are. And so it really is kind of like an essential part of the aesthetic life on Bookstagram. And don't be afraid to just show off your single shelf. You do not have to have a library to post a shelfie. No. Just show off you, and don't be tempted to kind of like lean into what others are doing. Show us your style, who you are on your shelf, and show us what you're reading on your shelf. Like honestly, shelfies are always super fun, and they're really, really great because they're just so easy to do. Like a picture of your shelf, obviously, like with a different aesthetic, you just have to know what your aesthetic is. Like I said, we listed the aesthetics. You just have to know which your aesthetic is. And with the shelfie, if you're going to go with the shelfie style, some people only post shelfies and only have like a book like in front of their shelves with every picture that they post. As long as you have that consistency, honestly, it's going to work for you. Just make sure you have that consistency, and if you change consistently as well. Like don't get it twisted up in here in these streets. Now, the next kind of like part of like Bookstagram aesthetics, which I definitely like failed at. I didn't have many of these because I'm just like, I don't really do too much, and these are action shots. So it's basically like showing the action of the reader reading or, taking part in different bookish activities, basically in different areas, cafes, pubs, parks, gardens, just everywhere. Like, and people got really really creative. They had like pictures of them on their couches with like a book on their heel top. Like, I to this day I remember that picture because it was just so cool. I cannot remember who posted it, but yeah. So like, these shots are they're just really great because they kind of show how creative you can be, but it takes the focus away from simply the book and says, puts the focus more so on the reader. And because Bookstagram was also like this community, like, people wanted that, like, oh, hey, look at me, look at the literary genius behind, this page that you guys love. And so yeah, definitely gives a bit of variety as well to the aesthetic that you're going for. And like, a tip for this, if you're doing this, kind of like, definitely try to get candid moments that show emotion. So like, you can set up your camera to like record videos and then like just get screenshots from that video so that it can be as genuine as possible. Like I said, part of the appeal of like the action shots was because Bookstagram was made as a community. It was like, it had like that genuine feel to it where you can actually form relationships. So candid shots are all the rage, 100%. And if you can fake a candid, but don't give us real candids, please. Yeah, but like, they're really really great because they're, like I said, they're less about the book and they show like the person itself, but like, not even just the person but also like the reading experience. Like, if you're someone who's really outdoorsy, show us all the different places that you go to read. Like, the reading experience is definitely like what it captures, and which is why it's one of the more popular styles in terms of like aesthetics as well. Now, the last bit of like, the type of aesthetics that you can do in terms of like Bookstagram aesthetics, and that is like making theme posts. So these are really really great. You can kind of just like match it to like a theme or a season. So for example, think having pumpkins, or fall leaves in your picture, when it comes to fall, maybe having a beach shot, or maybe even seashells or something beach themed like for summer. And obviously during the Christmas season having festive lights. Like, theme shots are really great, and especially if you kind of like change your aesthetic to go with a theme. So around Christmas having a lot of like red, around autumn having lots of orange, and just those yellows that are in autumn. Around winter, having like those cool tones. Like, so changing it up with seasons and having like theme posts and theme seasons to your aesthetic really really works out. Yeah, it can be a bit like, not daunting, but more so like longer because you're constantly changing to fit a theme. So if you're going with a themed kind of like vibe and aesthetic for your page and you're constantly changing, just be ready, you might get tired. But yeah, it makes for like great pictures and kind of like a great shift in page, and it really kind of keeps people engaged because like, they're not seeing the same thing like 365 days a year, but like, they can see that constant change and they're kind of like coming back and getting ready for when the next change is coming. So it definitely like keeps people interested and keep people in the vibe. So 100%, like, if you're ready and if you're committed and you can like keep up with all the changing, like, this is a great idea for you. But you know what, guys, we are done. Like, we've had yeah, so this is kind of like my views on, or my takes on, obviously, like the bookish aesthetics. Like, everything has to do with bookish aesthetics. A bit of tips for you, a bit of where you fit in. Like, let me know, like, when it comes to bookshelf organization, like I said, let me know which type are you. Same thing with like your reading corner, if you have one set up or if you're planning to set one up. And if you are, Bookstagram girly, like, what, or Bookstagram boy, no discrimination, what kind of like is your aesthetic, or did I not list it, or do you just kind of post what you feeling like let me know. But like, yeah, give me your thoughts, and what you think about aesthetics on a whole. Like, do you kind of like try to fit specifically an aesthetic, or do you kind of just go with the vibe and you have no aesthetic really? But yeah, let me know what you think, and I cannot wait to hear from you guys. You guys know I love hearing your thoughts and just having some fun with you guys. So yeah, that is it for today. Excited to hear your thoughts and excited to be back next time. So see you guys soon. Bye.